Okay, so the next question is question 2. Okay, with the worked example on page 197. And with this question, it's given us a table which shows the cost in cents of a liter of lead replacement petrol. Okay, so it's given us the petrol, the dates. Okay, so we've got the dates, and then we've got the cost of petrol. So it's just a 2-column table, and then we have the cost of petrol this side. Okay, so we can see that petrol, so we've got 4th of January, starts 4th of January, and then it goes on through to, we've got also the 1st of August. Okay, and it's 1069, 4th of January, 1031. So I'm just putting a few of the prices in. Okay, so 2.1 says draw a broken line graph to represent this data. The y-axis is the cost and the x-axis is the months. Okay, so this is where we would now do our line graph. Okay, as you can see, so the cost increased, and then we supposed to describe the trends once we have drawn the line graph. Okay, so they've drawn the line graph for you nicely there. You can see they started the data from 1030 and they ended it at 1190, which is very close to the highest cost of LRP, which was 1093. The reason why they've taken such a small range is to really zoom in and show the trend of the data. So sometimes with the data like this, you need to create a small range so that we can be able to see what exactly is happening in the trend of the data. So that is why they chose the size of the scale of your axes, especially of your y-axis, to range from 1030 to 1190. Okay, so when you need to zoom in and see what the trend looks like, don't start your axis at 0 to 1000 and do it in increments of 200, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a graph with all the data points concentrated up at the top here, and you won't really see what's happening. It will be too small. But once you expand it and zoom in, that's when you now see, okay, it's going up, it's going down, this is what's happening. Okay, so we have done this before in terms of plotting the points, so we know how to do that, how to plot the points. We've got our cost, and here we've got our months. Okay, and then the graph looks something like this. Okay, and then you're asked to also provide the trends, to notice any trends. Okay, so the way that you would talk about the trends is you can break it up. Okay, where you see a steady increase, say that you see a steady increase, steady decrease, steady increase. Okay, so we can see from January to May. Okay, this is May here. Okay, so from January to May, we can see a steady increase in the prices, right? Then from May to July, okay, this is July here, there was a sharp decrease in the prices. And then from July to October, or well, even to September, because October it started going down, to September, the prices rose very steeply, and then it started to tail off by October. Okay, so you can see by tailing off, I mean it's starting to flatten between September and October. But before then, we've got a sharp increase a sharp decrease, and then a steady increase between January and May. So when you're describing the data, don't be afraid to break it up. You don't have to say generally the price went up, okay? Break it up to where you see where it was a steady increase, a steady decrease, a steady increase, and give me the boundaries where that took place, okay? That's just what's important in talking to the trend of the data. The questions go on to say, what factors do you think affect these trends? Okay, so remember, we're dealing with a real world situation, so you need real world answers. This is application now of this math work. So you need to describe what in the real world would cause these petrol prices to decrease and increase. Okay, so it could be exchange rate, which is the weakness in the rand. Okay, it could be due to government politics, okay, which would also affect the demand for the rand, which would affect then the amount that you would pay for the petrol. And then it could also be due to supply, okay, so there's maybe a supply shock or a supply factor that is making the price of the oil go up. So maybe